What is your name?
Tynea Cooper.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Wow. About myself. I'm a creative. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm a bonus mom with two beautiful children. I'm a very happy wife. I'm a minister. I'm a leader, an entrepreneur. I'm a very proud Black woman. um, I don't know. It's a lot about me, but at the end of the day, I keep it simple, but I'm very complex behind the scenes.
When I say domestic violence, what's the first thing that come to mind?
Bondage, struggle, fear.
I want to talk a little bit about your DV experience. When was your first encounter with domestic violence?
Wow. So, that was a journey. Um, my first experience with domestic violence, I was young. I didn't know any better. It was desiring love. I feel like what I was in was because I never healed the cycles of unforgiveness for my mother. I felt like abuse was love, so I married her. I felt like abuse was neglect and abandonment, so I courted her. I attached myself to what I was familiar with. And so domestic violence for me was an eye-opener, honestly, of how strong I was, but also how stunted I was because of my experience. But like I said, I was young. I felt like I knew what I wanted in life. And honestly, I desired something that all of the people I was with couldn't give to me. So I looked for it, and I got exactly what I was looking for. I connected myself with my unresolved issues and the hurt and pain that I bottled in from my past. And everything looked familiar. I endured a lot more verbal abuse than I did physical. So mentally, it took a toll on me because I believed what I heard.
So, what were some of the things that you heard?
Some of the things that I heard was, "You're stupid. You have no respect for yourself. You have to earn what I give you. You deserve this. If you didn't do that, you wouldn't have gotten this." That I'd fail in life. My relationships wouldn't last. I was very heartless and selfish, even though I was the total opposite. I heard a lot of things like, "You're not pretty enough. You wear all your scars on your face, your skin. I should have been grateful they loved me. Grateful they wanted to see me and them out together." I remember being told I was supposed to just be quiet, be silent, and just exist, basically. If it wasn't for what I could give, which I was told honestly, only thing I could give was good sex, but nothing else, right? Which caused me not to be interested in sex anymore, because I felt like it was used over me. If I wanted something nice like flowers, a card, a date night, or anything that I felt like I deserved, I had to lay on my back first. So I kind of felt like it was no different than a prostitute, no different than someone who made their earnings, their living, giving themselves away.
So, would you be able to share at least one or two stories of some things that you've experienced?
I think the hardest thing that I went through was on the other side of the abuse. I became a cutter. I became a cutter because I felt like if I could cause myself pain, then I can ignore the pain that I was in. But I hid it well. I knew where to leave my scars, and nobody ever see them but me. But I could feel the pain from them so that I could take myself out of the situation. And so for me, I started with that because that was a very hard habit to break, even after DV. It caused me a lot: infection, lies, all of the things to lie over why these scars were there, being sick from the marks and the scars that I did to myself. But again, in the present moment, it made me, or allowed me, to move past what I was feeling in the present. One of the incidents that I can remember that was one that kind of took a complete toll was when I was told, one day you're going to look up and I'm going to be gone. I was told I didn't appreciate what I had. And I remember, I don't know, I talk back. So I didn't believe that because my grandmother raised me well. And I remember coming home one day. It was completely dark in the house. And I came home and all of my things were gone. All of my letters from my grandmother, who is no longer here anymore. All of the gifts that they sent me. Anything that meant something to me was gone. It was as if someone had came in and cleaned up the house and took all of my things out, even though my name was on the place. Removed me and told me that if I was going to come back, I had to sleep in the hallway. I had to earn my right to sleep in my bed. And I came back because it was my house. But staying there and sleeping on a pallet while the house was being used and lived in and enjoyed, I had to wait my turn to go to the bathroom, wait my turn to take a shower. It's almost like I was in a dorm room, but I was being punished because I spoke up for myself. I can remember hitting a wall one day. I was very angry, and I hit a wall, and I was reprimanded for doing so. I remember only bits and pieces. I had what was called bound and blocked memory, where my mind completely blocked everything that I had been through out, and I can only remember spurts up until this day. And as I get older, I'll remember more, and I feel like it's God allowing me to remember the things now that I can withstand. But I never forget that day I punched that wall. I had enough. And quickly after that, I remember my face being pushed down towards the counter. And I don't remember much after that. I do know when I came to, a lot of my teeth in the front were cracked. I was bleeding from my nose, and I was told to clean myself up because we gotta go to church. And I remember being in so much pain that day. And I had to lie about what happened. And I fell, I tripped. I had to make it look good, right? And after that, I had to go to the hospital. And I had developed what we know it as elephantitis. And elephantitis was in my face because when my face hit the counter, It caused an abscess and infection in my gums. And I remember when people standing over me telling me I had a choice to make that day. If I wanted to live and stop the effects that the infection was causing to my heart, I had to lose all of my teeth because of that one hit. I was real young when that happened. So it was hard to make that decision. But because it was either, do I want to live? Maybe I should just keep what I have and just and take my risk, right? And explain my story later with proof. Or let them take my teeth and live and tell a story. And here I am. I chose the second one. I let them take that from me. I let people take my freedom, my self-esteem, my self-respect. I let people in multiple relationships tell me what I was not. I let the doctors take all of my teeth from the root while I was awake because I wanted to live. And so because of my decision, I am here with a very costly smile. And while I say it jokingly often, it was a very costly smile. So I'm here.
And if I were to ask, what have you accomplished since moving from victim to survivor, what would it be?
Wow. Have you ever asked yourself a question like, none of these dots add up. None of these lines connect. It doesn't make sense. Why me? I don't understand. I'm a good person. I said all of those things. And it didn't make sense then. But I think from coming from what I've endured to where I am now, I feel like I've accomplished what I was sent here to do. That if tomorrow or today was my last day here, was my last moment, I feel like I accomplished what God sent me here to do, because from that, I have my nonprofit organization. From that, I help and support survivors. I help them find their voice. I help them move forward. I help them. My organization, Still Breathing Movement, came from what I've been through. Because in the moments that I was going through, the times that I had to endure, nobody was there to remind me to breathe. So who best to lead someone in how to breathe properly than someone who at one point was suffocating? So I feel like I've accomplished a lot because I realize my own worth, whether you tell me it or not. I realize my strength. I realize resilience is necessary in this life, but I didn't go through any of that not to help someone. And so I have told God, if I could live past that, if I could put my hands on my chest and feel my heartbeat, there was purpose left in me. And I want to make sure that anyone who's gone through some type of traumatic event in their life understands that if you lived beyond that, there's still purpose left. So I feel like in that, I have accomplished exactly what I was set out to do. That's never to be quiet. I'm not going to be silent. I'm not going to keep my story. For so long, I've kept my story to myself, worried about how it would affect others, when I was going through it, nobody cared. So for me, I'm grateful for this journey. I'm grateful for this second chance, because I look back, and if I never endured that, right, everything is a complete circle. If I never endured what I endured as a child, I wouldn't be able to recognize that I had unresolved issues from a kid, and I ended up marrying exactly what I was suffocated from as a child. And then as an adult, I realized that I needed to do it again or it was going to represent itself. And so from that, I was able to learn like what real love really is, because I would have missed my husband, who means the absolute world to me, and treats me completely opposite than what I've endured.
So, what services, resources, or people helped you in your road to recovery?
Wow. So I had to go all the way to a different state. And the people in New Jersey, there's a safe house program there that you do not have to go into their safe houses, but they relocate you. It was crazy because where I was at, different states, whether you're in Upper PA or some places in Maryland or Baltimore, you have to give your entire life story to get in. And I wasn't ready to tell my story at the time. I just wanted to be free. So I came all the way to New Jersey, moved back home from where I'm from, and I went north of my family for safety and keeping them safe. And they took me in, and from that point on, they helped me find a beautiful apartment, which was an opportunity for me to start over. I had the charity, Catholic Charities stepped in and provided me with all of the clothes, from Bath and Body Works to new clothes to new pajamas to anything that I needed. Catholic Charities provided. And the program that I went into was up in Ocean County, New Jersey, where they placed me until I could find an apartment of my own. And then they paid for my apartment for going on, it was 4 years. That's the time they gave me to get on my feet and be able to provide for myself. And they provided me counseling, behavioral health. I had to go to group therapy. I had to go to therapy one-on-one. I had to do all of the programs. They had forced me to get out and do something. But they were so helpful because it wasn't humiliating. A lot of places that you go to from state to state require you to tell who your abuser was, or what did the abuse. Are you still with the abuser? Did you leave? What are their credentials? Do you mind giving me their full name and date of birth? And they asked so many questions that it used to frustrate me. Like, then I'd just be on my own, because I wasn't ready to answer those questions. But that program didn't allow me to feel that. But it was called Horizon House, and it was out in Ocean County, New Jersey. So they were very, very, very much a blessing, and they taught me what independence looked like. They didn't smother me. All I had to do was say, I'm ready and I need help. And they were there, and to this day, I still give back to them and still reach out to them because of the helping hand that they were to me.
What suggestions do you have to make it safer for victims to come forward?
I feel like you need to be able to trust your own voice first. Understanding, you may not even understand if you want to leave, but you got to be able to trust your voice. You got to understand that your story has enough weight and that somebody will listen. I have always had a motto that your victory has a voice. And so whether or not you know where your victory is in the moment, and it may not look that victorious, you gotta trust your voice. Because for me, if I never opened my mouth, I would have never got help. And I promise you, I probably wouldn't be here if I wasn't comfortable enough to say, I'll tell my story in snippets if you allow me. And he did. I wasn't humiliated. I had to drop pride. because I'm so used to doing for myself. So if I could say any suggestion, it would be one, trusting your voice and your story, and that any little parts of it that you would be willing to share in order to save yourself, your family, your children, it's worth it. Trust your tribe. If you don't have nobody around you that you feel like is your genuine tribe, go find them, because they do exist. And once you find somebody who's solid, you have someone, you have support enough to move forward. But I think ultimately, a lot of us have heard or seen a sign a long time ago. And if we just follow those signs and move when we're supposed to move, it'll be just a little bit easier to move forward. And I think for me, I knew I ain't had much time left, so I need to hurry up and make some choices, right? So I feel like understanding, how no matter how little, how small, your story matters. Your voice absolutely matters. Somebody was willing to hear the snippet that I was willing to share so that I could get the help that I need, without asking me any more questions than I was willing to give. And a lot of times we don't want to ask for help because we feel like they're going to try me, they're going to push me too far. I'm not ready. They're going to force me to do something I don't want to do. I got to give up all of their information. Man, they got kids. Man, they got family. We out here protecting the people who scarred us. We out here protecting the ones who abused us. Like, what does that look like? It looks like we still got a heart. We still care. We still sensitive to the fact that, for me now in this position, my question is, I kind of understand the why when you outside of it, right? Some of this stuff started when you was kids. So you use somebody as a punching bag. You use somebody as, I'm going to throw you around because I can't control what's going on around me. I can't control my emotions because nobody helped me through it when I was a child. And so if we can start helping healing these children, we won't have so many of us who was running around marrying what we was unresolved in. So for me, I feel like trusting your voice helped me move forward. I kept repeating myself in the mirror. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to tell them. Come on, see, you got to say something, right? Till I was confident enough that even if it was 3 sentences, like, I want to leave, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all sometimes people need to hear.